just I'm motivated. I am gonna do the real estate agency, and it doesn't work this way. Either in prison, or you're gonna be a millionaire, right? And he proved her wrong on both.
Yeah.
Not in prison, but a freaking billionaire.
Don't go towards it. They're like, just come here. Let's adopt that. Let's
100%.
learn from it. Let's actually start putting it into practice. I like to call it the opportunity, the land of the opportunity here.
Said like, okay, Seif, there is an opportunity from Samsung. Samsung is running what is called the Global Leadership Program.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Daniel East podcast. If you're coming back for another episode, thank you very much for giving me your eyes and ears for the next hour. But on top of that, if you're a new listener, I can't wait for you to listen to this episode because we are with one of the business OGs right here in Dubai. And we're going to be sharing a ton of knowledge and also how this guy manages to do so much in one day, because I think that is also something that we can all learn from. But before we do that, I just want to say big thanks to our sponsors, Ansem Skin, natural skincare range for men. Go check them out. As you'll see if you're watching on YouTube, my skin looks fantastic. And it's because I've been using these products for some time now. So go and check them out. I believe they're doing a 10% off right now, and they do same-day delivery in the UAE. So go check them out, ansemskin.com, but I'll make sure they're in the show notes as well. This week's guest is a businessman that started his career off in the corporate world, absolutely smashed it despite people trying to peg him down, and then decided, you know what, it's enough for me. I'm fed up of working for other people, and I'm going to go do my own thing. Had a little stopgap working for a family business, but then went on to be his own boss and create an absolute empire. But on top of that, he's a big advocate for how men can be in their alpha self and just being a true man and what that actually feels like, and what sort of behavioral traits you have to do that, and just really just, get away from all that stigma that's flying around about how men should be and how we shouldn't have our natural instincts. So I'm really, really excited to talk about these aspects of his life and get his views on, how to not only do it in the corporate world, but also go off and build his own business. So please join me in welcoming this week's guest, Mr. Alpha himself, Seif El Hakim. How are you?
I'm good.
I've got to say,
I've
listened to a lot of your podcasts before, and I'm thinking, how alpha is this guy? But the second you walked out the lift, I was like, I heard that deep, husky voice. The aura was just like, it was like you hit me before you even walked up to me.
Thank you, man, for having me on the
so
show.
I'm very envious of the alpha. So teach me.
You're an alpha. And I need to go to the website, check the skincare.
Thank you. Thank you so much. No, thank you. We have a lot of friends in common. Darius, Sudi, for one. I was listening to a show you did with him. I was listening, I think, a couple of weeks back now. Yeah. And, he was crediting you for coming onto his sales course and having the humility to be able to be like, what can I learn from this guy?
True.
Now, I think that is something that is incredible, because so many people get to the top of the mountain of business and think they know it all. But you've gone, do you know what? I'm going to pay full whack for that course, and I'm going to go learn something from a fellow entrepreneur that was also done big things.
True.
So hats off to you.
How soft?
Hats off, sorry.
No,
as in my hat off to you.
No, my pleasure, of course, but I learned it the hard way.
Yeah.
Because I had to pass through some things in my life that taught me to learn is a lifelong thing. So I always tell people, I really have 2 hours a day to study.
Yeah.
Literally 2 hours a day, I study something new. And that's what makes me top of my game.
What sort of things you study?
Depends on my goals of the year. Okay, if I'm let's say if I'm even roughly, if I'm talking, I want to strengthen my public speaking abilities, I'll study about public speaking, see what role models I need to model. If I'm talking about sales, marketing, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Now, if you're talking to me now, what I'm studying, I'm getting deeper and deeper in personal branding. I'm a big fan of personal branding, and I'm getting extremely deeper in it.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that I noticed as well online is you're a big advocate for personal branding, and I think it's not not enough people do it, do they?
We were in the car now, actually speaking about it. It's becoming a trend. Like entrepreneurship is a trend. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, but nobody knows what the hell is with entrepreneurship. they see the last 10% of it and they think it's like this.
Yeah.
It's the same as personal branding is becoming a trend. So a lot of people talking about personal branding. And we were even speaking in the car. And I was saying, like, I saw a post, somebody's talking about personal branding. For personal branding, you don't need followers.
Yeah.
Then what do you need? If you don't have a following base, better speak to yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
It's much more. So it's a lot of people talking about personal branding, but personal branding is an art and a science at the same time. So you need to know exactly what you're talking about. I love it. I come from a corporate background, marketing. It runs in my DNA.
Well, you've got some great experience, right? Because you was the CMO for Samsung for a long time, right? Were you always in marketing?
No. Oof. Nobody asked me this question. Oof. No. I was an engineer.
Well, yeah, because you're an engineer for Orange in Egypt, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Because that was actually one thing that I was going to come on to later on about your career. But I suppose I'll ask it now.
Yeah.
What was your first ever job?
I was a telecom engineer. I was in a department of, even a very interesting department. It's called VIP department for checking your quality of calls.
Okay.
So I used to run around the buildings, VIP offices, whatever, to make sure the network quality is superb.
Wow. And are you like qualified as an engineer? Is it something that you studied?
Yeah, a Bachelor of Engineering, Telecommunications.
Oh wow, wow. And what was it like? I mean, because obviously, you know, I'm from the UK. I grew up there, and this is what I love about the UAE. You get to meet so many different cultures. But what was it like growing up in Egypt?
Whew. You know, I love it from one perspective. We're so, I would say, family-oriented and friends-oriented people. We always, that's why it was very hard for me to leave Egypt. Always with your friends, always with your family. All the weekends you're spending it this way. You understand? Like you're so connected in a way that I loved it, and it was super hard to leave this comfort zone. And what made me leave Egypt was an absolute challenge.
Yeah.
I had it not on my plans. I never dreamt that I'm leaving Egypt. Absolutely. It just was a challenge. I took the challenge and it happened. Changed my life.
What type of person were you in Egypt?
I was absolutely sportsman.
Yeah.
An absolute sportsman.
You competed, didn't you, in some bodybuilding once upon a time?
2 sports I was crazy about. Kung Fu.
Yep.
I was in a professional team of Kung Fu. And when I was in Russia, I participated in Olympia 2014.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Because that's the thing. It's like, you know, I think those disciplines are so important. I started, so cut a long story short, the first time I ever got attacked when I was like a child at school, my mum was like, right, you guys need to start learning martial arts. And we did Kung Fu.
Yeah.
It's a great discipline.
Man.
And it teaches you so much, like, not just fighting, it teaches you so much more outside of that. Discipline, like...
Discipline, consistency, and the best thing, to be honest, it is confidence.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes really men needs confidence. And if you know that you're able to protect yourself and protect the ones that you love, that ups your confidence very much.
Yeah. Right. So we're going to go all the way back to the beginning. Now, I didn't mention in the intro, but you're the CEO and co-founder of Momentum Group. Yeah. You're the VP of Riversong. Yeah. You've got a brand called, is it Reve Holiday? Is that how I pronounce it?
Yeah,
Rev Holiday Homes. Yeah. The alpha branding, the coaching, and the podcast. Now, I always like to know what drives an individual to go to that extent.
Who?
Is there anyone from your past you're trying to prove wrong?
It could be one thing, like a couple of incidents, and of course I have role models that they inspire me. The role models are, let's say, the one that really inspires me is Richard Branson, the guy that runs 400 plus brands like this.
Yeah.
So am I trying to copy him? Could be.
Yeah.
Unconsciously, yes.
I mean, just from, obviously, I mean, I like to look into a lot about my guests and stuff, and I think you're completely different personalities. You know? You're not even the same type of profile. So I wouldn't even say it's a copying. I mean, you're kind of doing your own thing in your own style.
True.
I think you just look at him potentially as like somebody is like a thought leader in that space, right?
I love the way he manages several businesses at the same time.
Yeah.
It's one of a kind. Like even if we look down, like now in the industry, anywhere, it's the only guy that he runs anything under the Virgin brand, 400 plus brands. He had this power. And I studied him, of course. in order to be able to do all these
Did you
things.
read his book?
Which one of them?
Well, yeah.
Screw, just do
Losing
it.
My Virginity.
Exactly. So all these, he's an amazing guy. He's
And
an inspiration.
it's so nice to read something about somebody that's like become so successful in the business world, and then rewind to when he was a kid. He was just a little player, right? It's like any lad.
He was considered dumb.
Yeah.
You know that
Just because he was dyslexic. Yeah.
Exactly. His teacher told him what.
You're never going to amount to anything. Yeah.
Exactly. Either in prison, or you're going to be a millionaire, right? And he proved her wrong on both.
Yeah.
Not in prison, but a freaking billionaire. So that's one thing. The second thing is, I had an incident in my life that when I was in headquarters of Samsung, and I had a meeting with HR, the time that they had to return me back to Egypt. And I didn't want to go. I like the idea. First of all, I didn't want to go from Egypt, but when I left and I studied abroad, and I didn't want to go back.
Yeah.
And HR came and said, okay, see if you're going back to Egypt. And I said, no, I'm not going anywhere. It's like, no, it's time to go back to Egypt, to Samsung office. And I said, no, I am staying here, or the VPs, the executives want Seif to be in headquarters.
Yeah.
So the guy said, like, Seif, put your ego down. I can replace you with an empty chair in 2 seconds. Man.
What year was this?
Oof. No, go back 10 plus.
Because it is like an old school mentality, isn't it?
100%. 100%. But let's not say old mentality.
It still exists today.
It exists because there is a culture in it, okay? It's a command and control culture. There is a culture in it as well. So it changed me, which in a sense, like, okay, I will never be replaceable.
Yeah.
So I started to add value in everything that I do.
Yeah.
Add value, develop myself. Whatever it is, nobody can come and tell me.
Make yourself irreplaceable.
True.
So what did your parents do? Like, what was your kind of like role models when you were younger?
My father wasn't always like a corporate guy, an entrepreneur. Like corporate, then entrepreneur. Mother was working mother. Plus, afterwards, she stopped working. So I grew up in I would say, middle plus family. Extremely sports addicted person. Had no intention to study. Didn't like studying at all. And was always in sports until a moment happened, kicked me off. And I became a top achiever, even in studying.
Yeah.
And then changed my career.
What was that moment that made you change into the education? Because very similar kind of profile. However, I'd like to say that I've graduated in the University of Life, but I'm not very book smart because I just hated the way that school taught people. Like, I wasn't the sort of person to sit in a chair, look at a blackboard and learn. I just couldn't do it. I just learned from doing things, hands-on stuff. But what was that moment for you that really changed?
Look, my passion was in sports.
Yeah.
And I did really wanted nothing except sports. And I saw myself growing in it. So my whole attention was going to sports. And at that time, by our culture, studying is important. Being part of a good school, a university.
It's kind of like bragging rights, isn't it? My son's got this.
My son is an engineer, is a doctor, is a lawyer, is. And at that time, I have a cousin, same age, exactly. And I used to study with her at the time before the exam.
Yeah.
So she gives me the nuggets. I go to the exam, just pass, and thank you very much. One day, my aunt, she's a mother to me. She's my second mother. My aunt entered the room where we were sitting and studying before the exam, and she cares for her daughter, correct? So she said, like, why are you wasting your time with an idiot? And this, like, oh shit, idiot. Look, I stopped sports. I stopped everything. I stopped going out. I stopped everything that I was doing, and I locked myself in my room, kept studying like hell. And I have this kind of, it looks like a character in me. Like when you say something to me, but watch me. Yeah. A hurricane is gonna come. Graduated top school. Nobody was believing what's happening. Top school, top universities. Everything changed from that particular moment.
Yeah.
Like somebody told me, you're an idiot.
Yeah, I think the thing is, it's like brains, I think the difference with, what I find as well, and having like you're the 90th episode now. So, but what I found from episodes as well, from chatting to people, is like, again, the education system, the way it teaches, I mean, even from our friend Dariush, for example, like, he hated school. Other friends that I've spoken to on the podcast as well, they also hated school. And I think, if you have that healthy combination of understanding, but then also using your own mind. Because I feel like a lot of people's minds get groomed into thinking one way.
True.
In the education system, whereas, you know, you look at a lot of, like, for example, Richard Branson, that we were talking about before, is because he wasn't thinking that way, it allowed him to open his mind later on in life, thinking this is the only way. This is like you know, it's the famous saying, right, where you look at people that you went to school with and they hadn't really amounted to much, but they were like top of the classes and these
The
things.
best analogy to this: school teaches you what? If I go for you to help me with answering my biology test, I will consider be a cheat.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
But life is not like this.
Yeah.
Correct? As an entrepreneur,
You get those people around you.
I'm looking for people around me to help me do things.
Yeah.
In the beginning, you said I was having a meeting to collaborate.
Yeah.
School doesn't teach you this. School wants you to be a professor in every single subject. You don't need to seek for help.
Yeah.
Life is not like this.
Yeah.
You need to be trained to seek for help.
Yeah.
So that's the principle or the foundation why I say school is not that good these days for being an entrepreneur, person who's responsible for their own destiny.
Yeah.
So
I saw as well that you do a lot of work with the university here. Is it the American University of Dubai? So do you think they're starting to open up now and be like,
True.
You know, because the thing is, and it, you know, I've had a lot of conversations like this where, you know, people will say, what's the point of me going to university? Because the person that's teaching me has studied this, but they've never practiced this.
100%.
So how can I learn from somebody that only learned, not practiced, you know?
Okay.
Whereas obviously you've practiced, you've built businesses.
One important thing which I see in UAE versus different countries. Schools and universities in UAE is advanced.
Yeah.
Even the curriculum is advanced. Versus when you go back to, for example, my home country, where you're studying something that is already old. You understand? Here, it's at least updated. They put professors, which I see, at least they have a practical experience. I'm 100% positive that where we live here, Dubai, they're trying to do their best to up this thing. The gap which was before, the professor is just a professor, has no practical experience. Now they're trying to bridge this gap. And I believe they're doing well.
I think Dubai is, I mean, like, everyone listens to this podcast, and if they're not in Dubai, they must be like, you just like talk so well about Dubai all the time. But it genuinely is like, it's just an incredible place. Like they just want to breed the best out of everyone. Like they're adopting cryptocurrencies. That if there's anything that the rest of the world is like, don't go towards it. They're like, just come here. Let's adopt that. Let's learn from it. Let's actually start putting it into practice. I like to call it the opportunity, the land of the opportunity here.
Exactly.
It outweighs
Exactly.
anywhere else in the world.
True.
You know, I was listening to an interview because I love watching UFC. And I love watching all those like fighters talk, and that Sean Strickland was like talking about how great America is, and I'm like,
Exactly.
you're just not educated, mate. Like you need to leave America.
Come see,
come
see
here.
Dubai. True.
Come here.
Come see Dubai.
Yeah, because it's the best of everyone. But what kind of kid were you?
Hyperactive.
Did you have brothers? You said you had a cousin, but do you have brothers and sisters, or was it?
Sister.
Yeah.
Sister. Super hyperactive. Not into education. Problems creation. I like to break things and mental it again, put it back together.
Problem solver, yeah.
Problem solver. That type of kid.
And when you were focusing on obviously the sports side of things, like I know you'd only ever focused on the sports at the beginning until that one moment with your auntie, but do you ever remember kind of like what a dream job was for you? Was it entrepreneurship, or did you have like a dream job in your mind?
I always wanted to be a pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always a pilot. And even I got my license to be a pilot.
Oh wow. So you can actually fly like commercial airlines.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why didn't you follow that dream?
Life took you in a different path.
Yeah.
But still, the dream is a dream. So I got my license.
I mean, that's
I'm
a flex
having
though,
that
to be
plan.
fair, isn't it? It's a proper flex.
Could be, but I really love it.
Yeah.
Like when we be outside, I can look at any plane flying and I can tell you the model, the engine. You understand? Like I can. It's a passion to me.
Yeah. So it's rather than it just being like something that you like, it's actually like. Do you find yourself having a trait where once you like something, you just obsess over it?
Oh my God, yeah. I don't believe in passion. I believe in obsession.
Yeah.
Passion disappears in a way.
Yeah. It's kind of like
Obsession
passion
is
doesn't really, like, it's like entrepreneurship, as we said, like when you start your own business, it's like you've got to be fucking obsessed about it.
100%.
Because when that shit happens and you hit that brick wall.
When people tell you you're crazy, you know that you're on the right way.
Yeah, true. Very true. Very true. But how did, because obviously you worked as an engineer in Egypt, but how did the whole Samsung connection come around? Because I think I want to talk about a bit about that situation in your life, because I think obviously your corporate career and where it took you was quite a pinnacle part of your life.
True.
So it's good to just touch base on that.
I used to work for Orange. At that time, I was a superstar in Orange. So appreciated, awarded, everything was fine. And at that time also, I liked my comfort zone. Means my work, income stability, my friends, my family, everything is fine. And then I had a family friend that said like, okay, Seif, there is an opportunity from Samsung. Samsung is running what is called the Global Leadership Program. They're running across the globe, trying to hire top talents to make them future leaders for Samsung. So there was this kind of a competition across the Middle East and Africa. They need to pick one person to go to South Korea, get their MBA, work in headquarters, then send these people back to their countries to manage the operation of the business. And I said, no, I'm happy. I'm happy. The proper comfort zone. I'm happy. Just try it. Then I said, okay, let me try. I went to the interview. It's like a panel interview. We're sitting in a room like this, 10, 15 people, different countries. And I'm working, like I'm working. So I'm looking at my watch. The interview is not starting. So there is a lady passing there. I said, like, when the interview will start, I need to go back to work. And then Korean, she looked at me, where are you from? I said, I'm from Egypt. I said, like, anyways, no problem. You can leave now. Egyptians are lazy. You'll never win. Man, I looked, I'm in a movie or I'm dreaming or I just smashed it.
Korean lady.
Korean
Didn't realize I was so racist.
Absolutely. Then I couldn't, and I'm a sports person. Like when somebody attacks,
Man.
you understand? Like there is a coming thing.
I think you've either got it or you haven't. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of men that will just shy away and be like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. So I said like, hold on. Let's make a deal. I have no intentions to win. And I didn't want to come even. And it literally was like this. But if I win, you resign in front of all these people. She happily took the challenge. Done. I made everything possible. I'm telling you, I'm an engineer. And that was a marketing freaking role. I made everything possible, which comes under the umbrella of the watch me thing. Everything possible. I won. She resigned. I'm the only one from the 15 people who were sitting. I was sent to Korea. And my life changed. Literally, my life changed. I remember the day that I flew. First of all, I was absolutely arrogant, which means when I said, like, you're going to Korea, and I said, like, what is Korea? There's Japan, I know.
Wow,
To that
didn't even know
extent.
that Korea existed. Wow.
Seriously. I said, like, Korea, it's not Japan.
Yeah,
Similar,
what is it? Yeah.
Similar. I flew to Korea. When I landed, everybody was going to passport control. I was trying to go back to the plane. I didn't want to go. But life changed, developed so much.
Yeah. I always say that, the best things in life are on the outside of your comfort zone.
100%.
It's like, I never really experienced it until I came here. Because again, like you say, it's like, I was always pretty bolshy. Like I did things, but like, I wouldn't say that I ever pushed the barrier. Like I traveled during my summers, but always the end of the summer was like always home.
Yeah.
Whereas like when I moved here, it was really, it really did. And I know what it's like. Do you know what I mean? Like you miss all your home comforts and stuff.
Your friends.
When you actually was in South Korea, I assume you were still homesick for a little while.
Disasterly homesick.
Mate, I can't, do you know what's funny is when I moved to Dubai, right? And I love Dubai, like literally love Dubai. I've been here 10 years now. But when I first moved here, mate, I would sometimes be brought to tears. I was that homesick.
Yeah, sometimes like.
And I don't cry. I literally don't cry.
But I miss home.
Yeah.
I miss my family. I miss my friends. I miss my place.
What was the turning point in South Korea for you?
When to be honest, my first trip back home.
Exactly the same. You go home and you're
I was
like,
oh shit.
get me back.
Literally. Oh shit from two things. First of all, you really value the path that you're on.
Yeah.
You see the path. Oh, that's a path that's worth sacrificing for. The second thing that you see how you developed.
You
Because
start to think differently.
absolutely, I was meeting my friends as like, they're talking about like, that age,
Yeah.
girls, not girls. Man, I'm building my career. I'm getting my MBA. I'm building my future.
Yeah.
And you're still in the
And you're around different cultures, you're learning so much.
exactly.
It's like, and you don't realize, do you, until you actually go home and you're like,
True.
wow. Like, what? Wow.
Exactly.
Like,
It was exactly like this. Just I was waiting for the flight back.
yeah. And how's your, let's call it love life with Egypt now?
Fine, I visit once a year. Let's put it this way.
I mean, it's still a city that's growing, right? You've got New Cairo, which is
Of course,
booming, and
it's not. But like, it's a different. I'm adapting myself to where my opportunities are. I lived in Korea. I lived in Russia. I lived in Turkey. I lived in Dubai. I lived in different countries.
Yeah.
So where the opportunity is, and I learned one thing as well, which is I need to be always outside of my comfort zone.
yeah.
So whenever I feel I'm done with I'm extremely comfortable. 100% you find me out.
Yeah. So, how long did you stay in South Korea for in the end?
4 or 5 years.
And you worked your way up to CMO there, or
No.
was that in?
Over there to regional sales and marketing manager in headquarters, and then moved to Russia. 10 years. Then over there.
10 years in Russia.
Yeah, Moscow.
And with the role in South Korea, what would you say was like the kind of biggest takeaways? Did you ever get kind of fed up with the corporate world?
No, at that time, no. I was super happy you have to understand it was my first experience being in a multicultural environment, gaining all these experiences.
You feel great, don't you, when you get this
Amazing.
promotion?
Yeah, amazing.
I'm an account director. Yeah.
Exactly. And Samsung company in South Korea is equal to the size of Dubai. So you're not going to a building, you're going to a city.
Yeah.
So all this was like, oh my God, you want me to go back? Sure. I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
here. You have to pull me back.
Yeah, and then I mean, did you move into the marketing role in Korea? Or was
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
So you moved into the marketing role, and
I
then
got my MBA.
Yeah,
I
you-
got my MBA in marketing,
Yeah.
global marketing. So I was trained in marketing, got my MBA. It's from MIT and a university in South Korea. It's a dual degree. Then started in product planning, first in South Korea, then product planning, then sales and marketing.
Wow, and I suppose that's what's probably led you on to what you're doing today, right? With the whole marketing side of things, is because you're constantly marketing yourself, personal
100%.
branding. And how was Russia? Because I saw that you got recognized by President Putin,
Yeah.
right? Which is obviously he's a bit of a dirty word nowadays, but I suppose at
It's
the
a
time,
president. At the
yeah,
end of the day,
exactly, yeah.
Of a country awarding a foreigner.
yeah. I mean that's that. I mean at the time as well. After
Yeah.
that must have been like,
2014 as well.
what was it? What was he like to meet?
No, I didn't meet him. It was it's a certificate and an award
Okay,
delivered.
Okay, yeah.
It's signed by him and
Still pretty cool.
it's done. It's
And
sitting on my wall.
I do listen to a lot of the shows you've been on, and you talk fondly of Russia.
Me, who?
You talk fondly, like nicely.
Of course, man. It's an amazing place.
Yeah.
It's really an amazing place. I had a terrible startup over there, but ended very nice.
What was the starting like?
Moving from South Korea, being in headquarters, number one, headquarters, second, having an MBA degree, a bomba from MIT. Then you go to a regional head office, and then you say like, hello, I'm Seif from South Korea, headquarters, blah, blah, blah. Go sit over there. What? It's exactly like this. Just go sit over. Actually, we don't need you.
You speak the language? No? Okay, bye.
Who you are. Literally like this.
Yeah.
And I always I say this story. It's like the guy told me, there is a presentation in this laptop. There are bar charts on it. It's colored green. I don't like green, make it yellow. That was my boss. So I had this...
Russian dude.
Yeah, of course.
So it's kind of like almost like a testing phase.
It's not a testing. It's really they didn't need me. So what kind of value you add?
Yeah.
And this is how actually my character got stronger.
What value did you start to add then later on?
Man, look, it's always like this. So I went to sit with him and I said, look, we're not on the same page. I totally understand, but let's do the following, okay? I studied the company, studied what's happening inside. I said, like, you have these couple of product lines where shit. suck product lines, and I can talk about them like Bada line, Omnia line, these Windows phones and stuff. I said if I make them the number one in the market, you up me, promote me, and I want to go to the Galaxy. And I said okay, deal. I made everything possible, and I made
You made those models number one in
number
the
one in
market.
the market.
How did you do that?
Collaboration, collab. So one line is Bada line, which is an operating system of Samsung. I collaborated with majority of all the developers, make me apps. The other one was Omnia. Collaborate with
So
Microsoft,
important, isn't it?
get money from Microsoft, put in marketing, made it the best.
Yeah. So it's collaborating in like just that people side. And this is why when I hear people talk about how AI is going to replace jobs, don't get me wrong, AI is very advanced.
Ooh.
But like the way I see AI is like it's a fantastic tool that's going to make my life easier. Later on when it's more evolved, I mean, imagine ChatGPT and artificial intelligence really only evolved from last year.
True.
You know, and you think to yourself, like people that say, but you still need that human connection.
It won't replace it.
Because collaboration
It won't replace
is in everything that we do.
It won't replace it.
It'll definitely, I think it'll definitely do some jobs, but you know, it's like, you know, that human connection and collaboration is
Emotional
so key.
intelligence. It's very hard to have an emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Or we will see.
And it's very emotional intelligence is also very personal as well, isn't it? Because everyone's perception of it is different, and that's what makes it unique.
You know the problem with AI, what now? I believe that people are taking it from perspective like, don't think about your past and don't think about your future. Live in your present now, do the best out of it, okay? People talking about AI in that perspective, which means what? Let's think how the heck AI will fuck us all.
Yeah.
Just leave it aside now, focus on what you're doing, see what you can leverage with AI on your present. When the future comes, if there's a tsunami coming, a hurricane with AI, okay, we will face it when it comes.
Yeah, yeah. And I suppose, obviously, I mean, I wasn't even going to ask you this, but I suppose now we're on the topic. You're a technology guy, right? You worked in technology businesses for a long time. You do have a technology business now. So what do you see as the kind of future at the moment for some, well, let's talk about maybe the more popular ones in your eyes from an AI perspective?
I believe very soon. I'm a very big fan of Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Chipping the brains, it's happening. So I believe this is the whole, and it's of course an AI driven thing, but that's the thing that will change the whole, I would say the whole world, and it's happening.
Yeah. I was reading today actually that he's creating a chip where you can basically control the keypad of your mouse with your brain.
True.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
It's crazy.
It's happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, even when you look at let's talk about the simplistic side of AI where you can create now literally cinematic videos from a script.
True.
Like, imagine even saying that during COVID times. You'd be like, shut up, man. What are you talking about?
What are you?
You're crazy.
You know, I'll tell you something. One of our team members, he doesn't speak English. Literally, doesn't speak English. A team member.
What does he speak?
Another language.
Arabic?
No. From Asia.
Okay.
He doesn't speak English.
In your team now?
In
or
my team, yeah.
Okay, now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And his job is also a video editor. Can you believe the power of tech now that allows a person who doesn't know the language edit videos? And I mean subtitles, graphics. You understand what I'm talking about?
Well, yeah, I mean, like now, like I mean, talking on a basic level, like if I want to translate something into Arabic now, a script, you know, done. Yeah,
Well,
I just get someone to
again,
proofread it,
it's
and they're like, "Yeah, it's
power.
good."
It's really power.
Yeah.
It's really power. So when people say, I'm afraid, man, just leverage it. It's an
Yeah.
amazing thing.
Yeah, just introduce it slightly into your life. I was saying to my brother as well, I was like, because all my family still live in the UK, so you know, they're kind of like in the UK, these types of technologies are sheltered because I hate to say it, and I hate to be that kind of skepticism kind of vibes, but I feel like the Western world doesn't really want you to do that well. They want you to be a part of a system.
True.
And I was saying to my family, I'm like, use it.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
try
yeah.
it. Just open it.
Try it.
Just
No-
do it.
Nothing
just
bad
please.
with trying.
Yeah,
True.
exactly. So you moved. So you obviously was in Russia for some time, and then what made you actually want to leave? Time for a change.
Absolutely. Look, I always have a problem when I don't see my next
Move.
move. Exactly. I reach the maximum where I can reach in Samsung or in the industry,
Yeah.
In another words, is like I reached the same CMO level. The next level is the president of the company. President of the company can be a foreigner. Okay, so my other option was to go a lateral move, go to Apple, go to whatever it is. I tried, just like, of course, it was like options on the table, but I wanted to try something on my own, which means even all my career in corporate, I was always doing something on the side.
Yeah.
Always doing something on the side. I like if you tell me what kind of business I didn't do, it will be easier than the businesses that I did. I tried trading, and I mean proper trading. I tried having my sports supplements. I tried whatever it is, whatever you think of, clothes, shops,
You're just very
retail.
curious.
Wanted to know what does it take to be my own boss, and it's smart because you know this whole people thing was like you want to conquer the island, burn the boats. Correct, but if I have a corporate job that gives me income, a proper income, why can't I use part of this income to test myself, to learn? If I have what it takes to do
Yeah.
the entrepreneurship journey. So I was testing these things a lot, a lot. I call myself a mad scientist. I love new things. Test, test, test. The time will come. So I can create projects, put it on the table. The time will come, I'm gonna use it. That's particularly it. So the time came, like, okay, I reached the max. There is no way up. It's time to jump.
And you left. And that's the thing as well. I think people, there's a lot of stigma around like quitting and moving on to different things. And people's like, maybe not as much, but when you've got visionary people and entrepreneurs and stuff, not so much is it like a bit of a stigma, but like, you know, there's a lot of people about, oh, but why would you do that? You've got a good job, you know, you've got a safe income, you've got this, 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 but you always wanted more. But did that lead you on to your family business in Turkey then?
Yes. I want to say something in this particular thing. Being in a corporate job is not bad. Being an entrepreneur also is not bad. It's your choice. There are top people in corporate levels, in a corporate hierarchy. They're making amazing money, amazing career, living an amazing life. Correct? And same people in entrepreneurship doing great. And on the opposites of each, there are the suckers. So whatever way you choose, it's your choice. But make the best out of it.
What do you prefer?
No, now, the first year after leaving corporate, I'll say corporate again. Now, absolutely, I can't.
Yeah. What was the biggest challenge, would you say, from that first year? Because I think this is something that I'd love to talk about with entrepreneurs, just because I think we're surrounded now by get rich quick schemes. Yeah. You know, the make $10,000 in your first month.
Hell.
I'm like,
Hell.
I'm like, you're lying, mate. Like, it's a lie.
It's impossible. It's hell. You know, sometimes I interview people on the podcast as well, and they tell me like, we work 2-3 days a week. Excuse me. What type of this? Tell me. I'm very happy to participate.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was hell. And that circles back to the Ryush thing, why I went to his course. The first year being an entrepreneur and leaving corporate was hell for me. Why? I left corporate with my ego in the 60th floor.
Yeah.
CMO of Samsung, on TV everywhere, on billboards in the streets, hanging out with all the celebs. Man. So I thought at that time, whatever I put my hands on, it returned to gold.
Yeah.
I went to family business. What the heck? What the heck? It's a totally different ball game. Whatever I put my hand on, it fucks up.
Yeah. It's like, so you're trying to find something and they're like, go get it yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly. And that's example.
We don't have a legal team.
Exactly.
We don't have logistics. We don't have this.
Marketing team, no. I want a website.
What do you mean product development?
100%. So I had
You are a graphic designer.
Do it yourself. Yeah. And you know, family business, and you start to have issues internally.
Yeah.
You're coming, you think you're a king. No, I'm not thinking.
Yeah.
That's how I am. This is how I am over there. So it took me a year, and I always love to say this story. I woke up in the middle of the night. Man, I lost all my ego. I lost all my confidence. I lost everything. I thought I'm completely fucked up. I woke up in the middle of the night, and I went to the bathroom, and I look at the mirror, and I literally saw a person, and absolutely full of doubts, absolutely not confident, looking pale, looking down. And you know this whispers that comes into your ear, as if that person in the mirror talking to me said like, Saif, go back to corporate. Just go back. At that moment, I remembered everything, like about my family, my mother. They rely on me. You understand? Like, I can't let them down. You understand? I really can't let them down. So there was a vase. I took the vase. I broke the mirror. I said, I don't want to see this shit again. And at that moment, I understood the real meaning of you develop yourself. So I said, of course, if you're doing the same things and you're getting same results, or doing the same things, getting shitty results, then you need to change.
Yeah.
So I took my personal development in a totally different level. Coaches, mentorship, to really take me out of this hell to succeed.
Yeah.
So that's why till this day, I go to courses, I go to conferences, because I don't want to repeat this thing again.
Because the thing is, I think we all get that voice in the head, right? And some people can let it consume them. I think you're not natural unless you have those thoughts, because it's everybody has it, but you know how you combat that is backing it up with undeniable evidence that you actually can do this. Do you know what I mean? And being able to do these self-developments, it's like constantly showing the subconscious part of your brain that, you know, here's the evidence that I can do this. I'm developing this part. It's like doing reps in the gym.
Exactly true.
You know, you build your muscles, and you know it was actually so funny on a podcast once, because I was interviewing a psychologist, and she was saying, you know, we all go to the gym to work out, but how often do we regularly exercise our brains?
True.
And it's so true. It's like the most important part. It's like the engine for everything, but we don't really, you know, once we leave school, that's what we forget. You know,
100%. And you know what? One thing more that I learned through life: never label yourself as a quitter. It's a label that gets attached to you. Even there is a project, whatever it is, that I see it will not succeed, I will close it. And then I can park it. But I will not jump the ship. Because I don't want to label myself as a quitter. It's finished. Because once you do this, any hurdle or any obstacle you will face down the line with any other projects, you always, I can close it and go to the next.
Yeah.
No. That was part. I will not quit. I will do the best. They did it. Why I can't?
Yeah. I interviewed someone on my podcast recently, and it was a really good podcast. Ex-professional footballer, used to play for Liverpool, Tottenham, like some legitimately good clubs. And he spoke about how he doesn't send his kids to school. And because he's got a dialed in mindset, like dialed in. And you imagine being an athlete at the top of your game, you have to have a bulletproof mindset to think and believe you're the best. But he was saying, like, I don't want to send my kids to school because of all the propaganda that goes around, but also all the labeling. You know, he goes, my kid, if he doesn't know who you are, but he's like, you know, just not wanting to approach you, just trying to figure you out, and then somebody goes, oh, you're a shy boy. In his mind, he now thinks he's a shy boy because you've labeled him as a shy boy. And it is true, isn't it? It's like, you know, that labeling of, you don't realize how powerful saying something like that is, because your brain, it just lodges in your brain.
100%. Sticks. And it's exactly with the quitting.
So how long do you stick in the family business?
No, I'm still.
Yeah?
I'm still in.
Which, out of the businesses that we mentioned then at the beginning, Momentum, Riversong, the Holiday Home Company, as well as, you know, your coaching programs and stuff, is that a part of the family business, or that's your own business?
Which one? The coaching?
Yeah.
No, it's separate. They're all separate. Kind of organizations.
And
my focus is on this.
The coaching.
Yeah. Because it's the new thing.
Yeah. And that's your, what like, I loved having conversations because about specifically being a man, masculinity, all that sort of stuff, because it's a topic that kind of gets shut down now, doesn't it? It's like you kind of can't be your true authentic self, because if you are, you're just being sexist or X, Y, and Z, all that nonsense. But how did the idea of the alpha movement come around?
Okay. I've been always, when I was in Korea, my nickname was a tiger. Like, so this was always something stuck, kind of labeled as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And then years, and then COVID hit, right? And when COVID hit, we were all sitting at home, doing nothing, basically my business was all offline, like hotels, restaurants, fitness clubs. They were all offline. So when COVID hit, everything was shut down. So I started to be more online. And when I start to be more online means I start to notice things happening online. I started to see that really just people are get rich quick schemes, trying to follow, I would say, fake people, fake lifestyles. And they're not just living to their potential. They're not developing themselves. You better develop yourself than just looking at people and envying them and comparing yourself to them. So from here, the movement was initiated with the whole idea behind is to develop the people in the correct community. The Alpha Movement. So the Alpha Movement, in a nutshell, is a movement that supports individuals. Either they're like entrepreneurs, people who wants to be super achievers, to go to the next level, unleash their potential in a way. It has a lot of things inside, like the entrepreneurship overall, the personal branding, of course, the mindset, the leadership, business scaling. And it has a lot of pillars under it that supports the movement. One of them is the podcast, the Alpha Talks. The second is an online training platform. The third is the Alpha Club, a magazine, a book series. Before I come to you, I saw the first print of the book. So
Nice.
things are happening.
Congratulations. How long did it take you to make the book?
How many? I'm a bull. 1 month, I believe.
1 month. Wow.
But it's all like, it's notes. I'm a guy like always leave notes when I want to write something.
So when you like, for example, you're the type of person at an end of every day, or if you've got a thought, you're always going to write it down.
100%.
There's a combination of that.
Yeah.
What actually is an alpha? I think we all think we know what an alpha is, but what is your interpretation of an alpha?
Okay. The alpha, by nature, is a leader, correct? So it's a leader.
It doesn't have to be man or female.
Male and female, doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay.
And I will talk about this because it's an important part. It's a leader. It's the first letter of the Greek alphabet. It's the leader of the animal pack. All times, it was the abusive, the controlling behavior, the egocentric, and. But with modern times, the alpha traits changed, okay? You don't need to be all this to be an alpha. So from my perspective, and the traits that I support and endorse are, number one, an alpha is a decisive, extremely decisive person. Extremely determined. Supporting and lifting people. Strongly, mentally, spiritually strong. How you call it? Impactful and influential in the community. Responsible for the beloved ones. Extremely honest and transparent. These are all a combination of the traits of the modern alpha, not the
toxic traits.
When you come and say like, okay, say if you're dominating because I take tough decisions and I'm determined. If you consider this as dominance, okay, consider it as dominance. But I'm extremely determined. Nobody can push me aside.
Yeah.
If you call it's dominance, okay, it's dominance. By taking rough and tough decisions, that's also like yes, it's dominance.
Everybody needs that though.
Everybody must have these traits in order to succeed. You work 24/7 and 24/7. That means that you're determined and persistent.
Remember what he said, 25/8.
Yeah. You have to have these traits to succeed.
Yeah. I think that's there's a couple of questions I've got around this, but I think that's, and I said this obviously at the beginning before we start recording, I think it's so important to highlight the hard parts of business because nobody's doing it.
Yeah, true.
Everyone talks about the glitz and the glam and,
And part of it could be even not true. A lot of people come and tell me I'm successful. I'm happy to hear you're successful. And I want to teach you something. Then hold on here. You're successful for how long? It's easy to be successful once for a short period of time. It's super hard to sustain it. So when I come and see something like, I did this business, it skyrocketed. Talk to me in 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And I will learn from you. But before that, there is luck, there is the environment, there is a lot of factors that contributed to your spike of success.
Yeah. I mean, I speak volumes for that because when I first launched the brand, went crazy.
Yeah.
And then you have that 1 month that's not as crazy as the other. And you're like,
what what's happening. True.
And that's the first learning curve.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, that is business.
True.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and it is, and that's where it falls into not even, you know, and again, this is the kind of alpha side of things, is it's not actually about the business. It's about the brand. How do you build not only a personal brand, but a brand that's going to build longevity and last the test of time. No matter what times will come, it will always be there in the end, you know?
And how many people will hit you on the head for what you're doing? Yes, today we were speaking. My best friend is my best friend and partner is my ex-boss in Samsung.
Yeah.
Okay, we're super like brothers.
He's Korean.
No, he's Russian.
Okay.
In Russia. Yesterday he sent me a message in the beginning, like, Seif, you're CMO of Samsung. What the heck are you doing online? What are these videos? Like motivation, personal branding. What the heck? What are these? Entrepreneurs. What the fuck entrepreneurs? Years. You know, I left Samsung 2017. Years. And we're like, he's my partner even in Dubai. Yesterday he wrote me a message, said like, Seif, I can't believe how persistent and determined you are. Whatever I hit you, you're just like. So even your close people will keep hitting you. Like, what the heck are you doing? Even my family, my father was like, Seif, the empire over there, and you're doing this online courses. You know, like old school. What online courses are you talking about? Why teaching? Going to speaking events.
Want to learn, go back to school.
Yeah, you understand? Like, what are these?
Yeah.
What about the restaurants, the hotels? It's like, but you're persistent. You have a vision. You're fiercely determined. Like, whatever happens, you're not moving me.
Yeah.
I'm going to go, and I'm going to show you. That's the thing.
Now, I interviewed a masculinity coach, and he focuses a lot on obviously men and kind of like bringing out the, let's say, confidence in men again. And what I've found is online, there's a tremendous amount of hate for some reason towards people like that because they feel like they're mimicking Andrew Tate. Do you ever get that?
In a way, but it doesn't bother me.
Because what I find fascinating is that so many men look up to this guy. What do you think of Andrew Tate?
Agree with him or not, his way of delivering the message or not, it's his way. I respect his way of how he built his personal brand. Okay, that's his way. Do I agree with all his views? Absolutely not. I have mine.
Yeah. Because it's crazy because you think to yourself, like, there are so many men like yourself that are actually out there teaching, like, you know, not only, I mean, again, it is conflicting sometimes because you listen to some of his videos and you think, you know what, you are just saying what majority of men are actually thinking. However, there's just some parts of it you just like, oh, man, you just can't bash people like that. Do you know what I mean?
You know, I'm trying to be, not trying. I'm being myself in a way, okay? And I'm not being myself. I'm being the best version of myself the way I see it. It can resonate with you, then it's great.
Yeah.
And it can resonate, or the other person hates me, it's also absolutely okay. I'm not here to help 99% of people or 100% of people.
Your target audience is a group of people that want to be, that's the area they want to excel in.
Exactly. Resonate with me, my story, the way I act, my values, my beliefs, the way the things that I stand for, the things that I stand against. We need to resonate on all these things.
Yeah.
Otherwise, and you know, there's a difference. Like, okay, Seif, you're saying successful. How are you successful? No, man, I have track record. I'm not just like waking up yesterday and I said I'm talking about evidence, success record, a track record. You want to model me in how I did things, more than welcome. You don't want, more than welcome as well.
What type of things do you learn on the course then?
On
the Alpha course, yeah.
Look, it's a multitude of entrepreneurship, personal branding, even finance. It's a kind of mini university in a way that gives you the skills and equip you with the skills that is needed from my standpoint to succeed in life.
So it's not even necessarily even being about just being a man, let's say. It's more about actually the aspects of how you portray yourself,
True.
Where you invest your money, and all these different aspects of it. So if I'm listening to this, because I know there's a lot of people out there that I mean, unfortunately, a lot of people hate what they do and they just wish they could do something that they love. So what is the first point of call for personal branding?
Okay. I love one quote or statement about personal branding that I love to always say it. If people understood the value of personal branding, everybody will want to build its personal brand. Personal brand or personal branding is the only legal kind of business model available on earth. Legal monopoly available on earth. So nobody can take it from you, right? I can take your business, I can take your podcast, I can take whatever I want from you, right? A government, an entity, a competitor smashes you, but your personal brand,
We can't take you, can you?
exactly.
Can't take that aura in the corridor.
It's impossible. And you know, we talked about Tate.
Yeah.
They smashed him. Took him, jail, money, bitcoins, cars, whatever. Came back what? That's the power of personal brand. And I always give an example of, there's something called Tesla effect. Tesla effect is what? Tesla as a company been around for almost 10 years, okay? Versus Ford,
Yeah.
which been around since what? Hundreds of years. Since the early 1900s, correct?
It's kind of like blown Ford out the water, hasn't it?
Exactly. The market cap of each are almost the same. And that's why. It's because of the personal
Elon
brand
Musk,
of
yeah.
Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Whether you like him or not, it's another story.
It's very funny you say that actually, because like subconsciously I wasn't even thinking that until you said it, and it's like, well, I actually had to think, like, who's the guy that owns Ford again or started Ford?
Yeah,
It was
exactly, yeah.
Henry Ford, but we don't really know much about him.
100%. L'Oreal, do you know? No. AT&T, you know? No. Nobody knows. The guy, Elon Musk, sold the truck before there was a truck. That's the power of personal brand.
Yeah, because I was listening to a podcast actually on the way here, and the guy was talking about how he'd had like thousands of people sign up to the truck on his
True.
waiting
Yeah,
list.
exactly.
They paid like $100, and it's like,
He signaled the market, get the signals like this.
yeah,
There's no car.
it's wow. It's and that's true, isn't it? So what can we do to improve our personal branding then? Is it just through social media presence, or is it just the general day-to-day stuff as well that we're talking about, like how we look, how we smell, how we present ourselves, how we talk?
100%. The first thing you need to understand who you are, okay? Like your identity, who you are, what kind of message you want to get across, your pitch, or. Who you are, what you stand for, what you stand against. This is one thing. The next thing is you need to start to use all this data to start to get yourself online and offline. Making the videos, making the content, These are the third, you need to make people talk about you. Correct? To build a personal brand, you don't need just to speak, I am. You need to say like, I met Seif, he was like this. Like publication, articles, being on a podcast, being on a show, These are all factors. When you combine them together, you're building your profile online and offline. You're collaborating with, I would say, companies. You're collaborating with people. These are all factors. If you put them all together, that builds your personal brand.
Nice. And the makeup of your like, let's say customers, clients, however you want to phrase it, male, female, percentage wise?
70-30.
Yeah. And how is it working with, I mean, this is what is fascinating about working with so many different profiles of people, because especially when it gets to this point, so you must work with like a lot of men that, you know, it's difficult working with men at times because ego gets in the way.
Of course.
So how do you bridge the gap between, you know, balancing those alpha traits so that they're not too overpowering, which will then affect, you know, the overall outcome as such?
You know, the thing is what, when you know me a one-to-one, you, based on you, how to say it in a proper way, based on your energy, I will reflect that. Okay, I'm not in a business that I want to take any customer. Like I can turn off customers the way I want. So if I can't do business with you, means our energy is matching. And being an alpha, I'm not humiliating somebody else.
Yeah.
It's being myself. I'm that way. You're happy to work with me in that way, I can bring you the results. If not, there's no problem.
Yeah. And that's the thing, isn't it? I think a lot of people find with business, it's like they get really upset when people don't want to work with them, and you're just like, well, it's cool. It's absolutely fine.
Absolutely fine. Thank you.
How's your daily routine look?
Studying, personally develop.
What time do you wake up?
7-ish, between 6 to 7. So 6 to 7 I wake up. I have 2 hours of developing myself. in whatever skill I want to develop. Then I do my workout. Then I work on the things that's extremely important for me for the day
Yeah.
before I leave. So I usually go to the office after 12. So from 6 or 7 to 12, personally developing myself with a skill, working out, and killing the most important tasks of the day. Because, once you in the office, meetings, calls.
Yeah, there's like no chance that you're ever going to get outside of that. And, I've done it before where I've woken up and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to start working at 6 a.m. And then it's like, I'll do my workout at lunchtime. And then lunchtime comes around.
That's impossible.
I've done it where I've gone, but you're like dragging yourself. So it's like getting these things, getting habits right. Do habits, like do implementing these types of habits, you think have a positive impact in being an alpha?
100%. I'm following habits. You having habits and routines, it's extreme pillar or contributor to your success.
Yeah.
Because your motivation gets out in the way, like nothing will get you closer to your goals and to your success or being even an alpha unless you follow a system,
Yeah.
follow a routine. Boring, not boring. We're not talking about boring here. Everything we do, like 99% of it's boring and the other one is fun.
Yeah.
So you have to follow a system. And that's why we're human beings. We drift. By nature, we drift. We're lazy people. We're lazy. What puts us on track, what puts us on autopilot like a plane flying, is the system and routines that we have.
Yeah, the habits, and it's funny you say that because you think about it, it's like lazy in a sense where when you start you're driving somewhere and you just think, oh, what's the quickest way I can get to that route, and it is true. It's like finding that shortcut to get the easiest possible way.
Super lazy.
So what is the goal for you then? Because you seem like you've accomplished a lot from a career perspective. You've worked your way up in one of the biggest brands in the world. You've gone and worked in the family businesses. You've started your own business. You've built success from them. You've built a podcast now, which is obviously doing extremely well. You're getting some great guests on there. What is the end goal?
There's no end goal.
Just going to keep going. Do you think you'll ever retire?
I don't think so. That's the thing.
It's funny, isn't it? Because it's one of those things that we all talk about. Like, we work really hard so that in the future things are, we have more freedom. But then it's like you can't ever imagine a day of not working. I mean, my granddad was somebody that was a real inspiration to me because he died a couple of years ago. God bless his soul. But right until the moment he went, he was just active. Yeah. And he was like he was riddled with cancer in the end, and unfortunately died from that. But
sorry to hear that.
it was, it was a shame. But he lived a good life. I think he died at like 98. But it was so inspiring to watch a man that was told he had 6 months to live, go on to live another 3 years, and just keep going. Do you know what I mean? So I think, we all talk about it, but it's one of those things where it's like, well, there is no end goal, there is no retirement.
A lot of people talk about retirement.
We've got to keep the brain active.
Brain active, and that's how you get the energy for life. That's life. We're humans. We're hunters by nature.
Yeah.
So you're hunting your goals. So end story. There is no end goal. There is no.
I'm gonna rephrase that question then, because I think there's a better question to ask. What's your purpose? Not the end goal. What's your purpose?
In a way, okay, because I usually love to say these from a legacy standpoint, which reflects to a purpose, to have a righteous child, okay, to have a great child, to have an ongoing benefit after I'm gone.
Do you have children at the moment?
Not yet, but an ongoing benefit that goes after I'm gone, and an ongoing knowledge that people will use right after I'm gone. If I have these kind of three things, I think I achieved what I want, which all gets into having a proper impact in the place where you are.
Yeah.
And the quote that I love, maybe it comes because the alpha thing, the quote that I want to put it on my grave says that here lies a man. Maybe I'll change it to here lies an alpha. Here lies a man that no person on earth could twist his arm. In Arabic, we have this term, statement that says twisting an arm is mean like when somebody push you to do something that you don't want, either against your values, your ethics, your principles, or we live in a world that a lot of people can push you to do things that you don't want to do. So I want to write this quote also on my grave.
Nice. What's your relationship like with money?
Love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you love the actual thing itself, or do you love what it can bring you?
I love what it can make. What I can do with.
It's interesting, isn't it? Money.
Okay. I passed through different phases of money in my life. Okay. Phase, no money. Absolutely, bank accounts are zeros.
Were you happy then?
Hmm?
Were you happy, do you think?
No, financial stress is a financial stress. So
Yeah.
all the bull that people tells you, if no money you have happy, that's absolute bull.
It's a lie. What are you lying for?
Absolute bull. So for people that says no money, it's like, it's absolutely bull. You need money. And if I look at my journey, I had really periods with zero money, periods with excessive, high level of excessive money that you even don't count.
Plus $1 million?
Like, just even don't count. Like, absolutely uncountable. But at that moment of time, or at that period of time, my character changed. It fucked me up
In a bad way.
in a bad way. And it taught me a lot of lessons. Okay? Because I was extremely wealthy at that time. Extremely. Doing a lot of business at the same time. Everything was working well. I was a celeb in the area where I was. Fucked me up. But I learned my lesson and then passed now. So the relationship with money from zero to max to normal to I passed through all this, the map or the patterns of money. Yes, a great relationship. I love money. It helps you do good things. Not bad.
Yeah. Do you like to enjoy it though? Like as in,
I love enjoying it.
you love doing
I
nice
love
things?
enjoying it.
Do you travel a lot?
I used to travel a lot. I came to Dubai almost 2 years back. Okay, so I consider myself in a startup phase. But
So you're really grinding.
yes, so until I set things up, I traveled almost 60 plus countries. I used to travel every weekend. I love traveling. I love the experience, cultures.
But do you know what I love right there? You know, you're in a new country 2 years, and you've obviously done incredible things, but you're still just like, I'm gonna make sure I crack it first. Then I'm gonna, and again, not everyone has that mindset. People can't adopt that. People wanna just chill. You know, like I work every weekend, without fail.
True.
People are like, oh, you know, come on.
Why
let's-
you're doing it? Why are you making like
Yeah.
this? Why? It's how it. This is how. First of all, that's the DNA. That's what I believe in. Once I put things in the correct place, the correct setup, that kind of runs automatically, then I can chill.
Yeah.
Because even, a lot of people tell me like, try to go to chill now. No, I'll go to. I'm going to go to chill. But while I'm chilling, 80% of my mind.
Is going to be in that place.
Exactly.
Oh,
so
man.
what's there?
See, this is why I love sexual entrepreneurs. So, do you get it where you just like sitting there and you just feel like you're cheating yourself?
True.
Like I think to myself, like this is so fucked up that I can't sit there and enjoy.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
bless her. Like my girlfriend, honestly, she's, as I said off camera, like she's an absolute gem.
Yeah.
And sometimes she'll just be like, babe, like whatever you're thinking about, just stop for a minute. Be present with me.
I get the same one.
Yeah, and
I get like this.
yeah,
Come back to earth. Come back to earth.
Oh, man. But it's I think to myself, and by the way, Seif's girlfriend's sitting in the studio and she's laughing in the background. But no, it's an incredible. I think it's a blessing and a curse, but I love it more for its blessings.
Yeah.
But listen, it's been amazing chatting to you for the last hour, but I do have some quick fire questions.
Sure.
I like
Go
to
ahead.
just fire from the hip,
True.
So, best investment.
Myself.
I knew you was going to say that. Worst investment.
Oh shit, I lost a couple of M's overnight. Yeah, it was the worst one. Because I didn't know the business.
What was it? What were you doing?
It was an investment stocks. A couple of M's overnight.
Yeah, it's so painful, isn't it? It's like,
Painful. And like we were a group of people. I'm the only one that survived. Which I mean survived in what way? All others went out with high level of diabetes, it was really a shock.
Stress,
Stress,
stress, mindset, everything. Yeah, I've definitely had a few times where definitely not lost M's. Hopefully, I've learned my lesson from the ones that I've lost, but thousands, multiple, and it's like, do you know what I mean?
But this is life again. A lot of people say like, "Oh my god!"
Again,
yes,
do you know what it is?
happens.
Do you know what it is? Like, it's like even though that happened and it did like kind of hurt at the time, I never really let it get the best of me because I'm just like, money comes and goes.
Yeah, and I did it before, right? So I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
it was
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, it's like they always say, don't they? The first million's the hardest. You reckon that's true?
I don't think so as well.
I'm not there yet though, so I can't really say it. But
You know, for me, this mil or 2 or 10, it's a matter of an equation. It's a formula.
yeah,
If I can set my eyes on a formula that makes me 100K, I can scale this 100K to 1 million more. The problem with entrepreneurs is they don't, once they see that they're getting the mill, they get bored and they jump to another thing.
it's because
So
they're
they
not
have a
passionate
gem.
about it, right?
True.
They just want to make money. They're not actually passionate about a cause. But I feel like if you do something with passion, ultimately,
Will
rest will
result,
follow.
100% will result.
most fulfilling part of being an entrepreneur.
Ooh, the adrenaline rush, the not knowing what's going to happen, and testing your stamina.
Yeah, it's amazing that when you have those moments where I heard you talk about this a lot, and you get a lot of fulfillment from helping other people, right? Those are the buzzes that I get. With my brand, it's like when people like I've seen people in the gym using the products,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh my
Oh
god,
my god, yeah.
like
Actually,
this
that's an
once
amazing
upon a time was
performance.
just an
True.
idea in my
That's
bedroom, like.
Absolutely. You need to give me the link.
Yeah. No, for sure I will.
Yeah.
I will. Biggest mistake.
Investing in things that I don't know.
Oh, that is a golden nugget. Yeah. I mean, again, it's stuff that I've done. You invest in stuff thinking, oh yeah, it's gonna make me money. I don't know much about it, but I reckon it'll make me some money. Biggest mistake.
And the second,
Yeah.
not making decisions.
Just gotta live or die by the sword, right? Yeah. Best lesson.
Always invest in yourself. Always invest in yourself.
Amazing.
You can always do anything. Just invest in yourself.
One piece of advice for starting entrepreneurs.
Fuck motivation.
Why'd you say that?
Because it doesn't work. You don't succeed in life by being motivated. You succeed in life because it is designed for success. And what I mean by this is, have you ever seen a plane, a pilot sitting inside of the cockpit, clapping for the plane to fly? Like, hey, let's fly today. That's a motivation, right? The plane was designed to fly, okay? That's business and that's entrepreneurship. Don't jump in something. See the design. Tony Robbins always says like what? Model successful people because they have the design for success. You don't need to copy them. I'm saying model them. Learn from them. Learn the path.
Do you think it is? I mean, sorry to interrupt you because I feel like you might have wanted to say something more then, but I just verbal, just like can't control it.
It's coming.
Sorry, but
Tell me.
sorry about that. Do you think there is like just a blueprint and that's the blueprint you follow?
Yeah. There are blueprints. For every business, there are blueprints. You add your touches to it. You want to be unique at the end. You want to be
Of
differentiated.
course, yeah.
But the blueprint is a blueprint.
But the process is the process, and if you follow
you
that
want to
process
build your
with
personal
own-
brand. How come you're talking about the logo and the color before you know who what you stand for, who you are? So you need to go one by one. It's a pattern.
Yeah.
It's a system.
And I suppose it's like everything in life, right? I mean, obviously, as you said, like with things, it's like you can't just start a business. Say, for example, I'm looking at this tissue box here. You can't just start a tissue brand and be like, I'm just going to keep doing tissue stuff every day and hope it's going to work. Like, obviously, there's going to be some more specific elements to it, to the business. But when you just put that, when you come up with a very, like you say, going back to the beginning, thinking of the idea, who are you? What do I stand for? X, Y, Z. And then you put in the compounded hard work every day up until that point. It's like that will be the blueprint that will then lead you on to success. Yeah.
You're not creating the next Facebook. Correct?
Yeah.
You want to do marketing agencies? man, a lot of marketing agencies. Benchmark whoever is what's happening. Add your touches. You want to do a real estate agencies, benchmark. But just I'm motivated. I am gonna do the real estate agency. Man, it doesn't work this way. A lot of entrepreneurs you meet and I meet that they're successful, and you also meet unsuccessful. If you ask them the question, were you hungry? Were you motivated to succeed? They will tell you what? Both of them will tell you, yes, we were hungry, we were motivated to succeed. The failed one and the successful ones. So it's not a matter of motivation. It's a matter that, I don't want to say follow the blueprint, but there is a design that's meant to succeed.
Yeah.
There is set of steps, process, principles, foundations you have to follow in order to succeed. Not blindly. Nobody succeed blindly.
Seif, thank you so much
Pleasure, man.
for your time.
It's been great.
One of the things that I love about the podcast is just being able to sit here and having conversations with like-minded people like yourself.
I loved it. And I love the questions.
Thank you so much. I haven't, you being a seasoned podcaster, I thought to myself, I was like, this is hard because like I don't want to have the same generic questions.
I have
you know?
to tell you one thing. You're a great interviewer.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sitting learning from you because you're bouncing the conversation. You're keeping the conversation. So I'm learning from you. You're doing a very good job.
Thank you so
So
much.
you're not just shooting a question and waiting for me to answer. No, you're adding your touches to it.
Yeah.
I love it. A great one.
Thank you so much. I mean, again, it's about going back to the concept of, you know, being your authentic self, knowing who you are. Like for me, one of the things I like to do, I do, and obviously I have questions here because obviously, you know, you've got quite a decorated like history, and I wanted to try and make sure that the audience gets across that. But also as well, like a lot of these questions come from also fascination. So a question will then lead to like something, and I'll be intrigued by something else that will then spark into a conversation. And obviously without you, it's not possible. So I just want to say thanks. And
thanks to you.
This is the starting of a long-lasting friendship, I hope.
100%.
Because all my podcast guests are
Another
always...
alpha.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. And we're definitely going to get you some handsome skin as well.
I appreciate it.
Even though you look great for your age.
No,
you know,
man,
so,
I need.
you do look great, but you could look greater.
Absolutely. Where's the link? Where's the link?
So, you know, every week, amazing. Like I love it, and you know the guests keep getting better. So thanks for this week's guest, and I hope you enjoyed it just as much as us. Like I do this every single week to make sure that I'm providing as much value as possible to you, and whatever you want to achieve in your life. If I can do it, you can do it. And I'm sure Seif's going to say the same thing. And it just applies, as we said, a certain blueprint with your own twist. But the most important thing is hard work and being persistent with whatever it is you want to do. So thank you very much. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you again next week.